I can't provide instrumental music since I'm a text-based AI. But I can't provide instrumental music since I'm a text-based AI. But I can describe how a Korean entries might sound. Afrobeat is known for its polyrhythms, dead-injected percussion, groovy bass lines, and vibrant layers of instrumental melodies, often mixing brass instruments with electric guitars. If you're imagining a Korean influence, you might blend in traditional Korean instruments like the gayagim or jangu, adding a unique twist to the Afrobeat style. This fusion would create a lively and dynamic sounds, perfect for dancing or losing yourself in rhythm. However, if you'd like, I could write lyrics that might fit this combination of styles. Let me know. If you'd like, I could write lyrics that might fit this combination of styles. Let me know. Let me know. However, if you'd like, I could write lyrics that might fit this combination of styles. Let me know. If you'd like, I could write lyrics that might fit this combination of styles. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know.
Greetings. Try to wait a few more minutes for people to show up. Evidently, there was an error trying to put it on to the event page. So it looks like Facebook zucked me again. So I guess from now on, I'll end up opening up I'll just stream on my profile. In fact, let me leave a message that there's an issue. I wonder if I can just, let's see if I can just go live. So I guess, yeah, as I figured, this is insane. Let me try one more time, see if I can get it to work there. Yeah, never mind. Let me leave a message for them. This is, yeah, forget it. They'll figure it out. Ha! Anyway, let me, I have one person. Of course, the chat is down. This is insane. But anyway, where do we go? Anyway, let's try to get this going in a few minutes. See if I can pull the chat up. See if I can pull it up. Is this work? It's on YouTube, but maybe I can read something that's. Could you type something into the into the chat? Easy for me to say on Facebook to see if it pops up. Supposedly it's read only for me. Well, anyway, I won't waste any more time. Hey, Frank, how's it going? Cool. I can see. I can't talk to you. I have to talk to you, but at least the chat's working. I want to take you back a little bit. Let's see, where is it? Because this, this kind of goes way back. I did this a few years ago, but it seems really appropriate for this subject. I lost one person. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes to see if someone else shows up. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go for it. It's just you and me, Frank. All right, forget it. So, where is it? This is, like I said, this is something I came up with quite a few years ago, much younger version of myself. But I thought I would start off with this because it's kind of appropriate. Hey, what's up? In case you didn't know, I'm O. I had another random thought that I wanted to share with you. Your undivided attention is most graciously requested. To think or not to think? That seems to be the dilemma. Whether it is nobler to think and possibly be wrong, or to think not and just follow so you can't be wrong. Let's pontificate this notion, for it lies at the very crux of our society. Case in point. Why would someone who you pay to handle your assets tell you that they need permission from another one of your employees to use your money to pay for the asset that they're watching for you? Now I'll give you a minute and let that sink in. Now what's boggling in those mind is not so much their excuse that they only do what they're told. No, not at all. It's like when we went to Oregon, saw this huge Winnebago and was hauling this Jeep Wrangler. Stick with me. I'll connect the dots. As we got closer, we noticed there was a bumper sticker on the Wrangler. The bumper sticker read, and I quote, "I go where I'm towed." Now, we the people have been conditioned to be so afraid of being outed as possibly being capable of maybe making mistakes that we've developed mechanisms to shift the blame from our actions to justify why we don't have to do anything to rectify the situation. Reminds me of when I was a kid. My father and godfather caught me playing with an electrical outlet. My reaction? I covered my eyes. If I couldn't see them, they couldn't see me. That was back when I was 3 years old. I have a question for you. Why do we grown-ups ever accept this right or wrong, day or night, up or down, black or white, either you're for us or against us mentality that leaves no room for us to be what we are? Mistakes looking for a place to happen. Whoa, take it easy now. Mistakes, human, same. It's what we do. So if you're riding in that Wrangler being told where to go by that Winnebago, and you can't contact the driver to see what's up ahead, think you might want to unhook the vehicle, start the engine, turn the wheel, and see where you're going for yourself? Whoa, what am I thinking for? I could be wrong. Ugh. By the way, that eye covering thing, I was wrong about that too. But I want to leave you with the immortal words of my friend Sarah. What's on? Your mind? Think about it. Wow, 15 years ago. Anyway, welcome. This was a really interesting subject to cover because of so many things. And knowledge at its best is a tool for exploration. But if we don't question our knowledge, it becomes a cage. And fear is the lock on that cage. But the good news, curiosity is the key. The only question is, will you use it? Now, in her book, Being Wrong, Catherine Schultz claimed that many times we prefer the comfort of being wrong because of the certainty involved over the discomfort of uncertainty in search of being right. So I guess the real question I should have asked was, are you comfortable enough to even consider my suggestion that curiosity is the key? Now, it's not really surprising that we have such fears. It goes back to when we were kids. I mean, I remember, think of the times when you were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And kids come up with the wildest thing. I want to be the president. I want to be an astronaut. I personally wanted to be a musician. And parents usually shoot that down, telling you that you need to do something that's practical. And they're looking out for us, and I'll give them that. But the problem is they bring the fear of trying to do anything. Like my mother, it was get a job, even if it's a janitor, and then work your way up the company until you're president. And this fear kind of went over into school. It's like the teacher, would ask a question of the class and ask, for a raise of hands. And it was always the same kids that raised their hands. It was the smart kids, teachers' pets, And the rest of us kept our hands down praying that the teacher didn't call on us. And it wasn't that we didn't know necessarily, but we didn't want to take the chance on being wrong and outed in front of our classmates. And this also extended into a lot of missed opportunities. I know fellas out there can relate to the nervousness trying to approach that girl that you liked. I mean, like you'd write on a piece of paper, "I like you, do you like me?" I'm sure girls went through something similar, with that yes, then you hand it to somebody, till it finally got to the person that it was meant to be, and you felt the separation that if they said no, when it got back to you, you'd hand it to somebody else just to get it off of you. But and a lot of this still happens today, where adults are afraid to take a chance to move forward, and it's all because of certainty. It's like we feel that comfort of being certain and safe, even though it keeps us from doing things. And it brings up the paradox of perfection. And that states that the more we embrace that need to be right, it reinforces our fear of being wrong. And again, how many times have people created things or wanted? I mean, I look at authors. I have some friends that are authors that they'd start a book, and it's like it wasn't perfect, so they don't release the book. And I remind them, that there's. Have you ever seen a book's second edition or 15th edition? That's because they made the corrections later. I had a friend of mine, film director, Bill Couturier, directed Dear America Letters Home from Vietnam. I remember we were in Jamaica. And he told me that he wasn't the best filmmaker in his class, but he finished his projects. And a lot of times, in search of perfection, we don't finish our projects. I look at, it's 2025, in case this finds its way into some ancient capsule. It's 2025, Photoshop is on version 26. Version 1 of Photoshop was introduced in 1990. So, should Adobe have waited till now to release Photoshop, or until it's perfect? Because I'm sure they're going to make some more adjustments. So should they have waited until it's absolutely perfect? Just think about how much time would have been lost of people learning even how to use it. So I want you to think of a time that you didn't take a shot because you were afraid to try. I'll give you a moment to think about it. When you come up with something, put a 1 in the chat so I know you have something to work with. I'll take your word that you have something to work with. So, what could you have gained if you took the shot? Or even worse, what did you lose by not taking the shot? I want you to think about that. Now, I posted something an hour before going live, and I was like, and I know the question is like, what the fuck is up with that sheep? So I want you to imagine this. Imagine that when you were brought up, you were taught that sheep were the most dangerous animal on the face of the earth. And then one day you found yourself inside of a pen with a herd of sheep. How do you think you would feel looking at all these vicious animals? They're sheep. That's kind of what fear has done to us. We've been taught that fear is bad. We're taught to believe that successful people have no fear. They're fearless. That's what makes them successful. They have no fear. And as a result, we feel that fear is a sign of weakness. So we've learned to fear our fear. We're anxious about our anxieties, and then we get nervous about being nervous. And still, it's clinging on to not making a mistake. So I'm going to take a chance on making a mistake, because last week this video didn't work, but I think I figured it out. The other thing, doing this live and the setup that I have, there's no way to test stuff, and as a production guy, it's kind of nerve-wracking, but you know, it is what it is. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake, but I'm going to try this. So this is take 2 on the video that actually inspired me to do this series. Okay, hold on just a second.
Tell me about if Donald Trump does not win, what do you do?
I hope that I'm going to die.
You want to die if Donald Trump doesn't win?
I do. I don't want to live like this anymore. You like our country the way it is now?
I mean, it doesn't really matter what I think, but you've got a pretty good life. You got nice clothes on, you got hat on, sunglasses, you got your health. I mean, the country's done pretty well by you, right?
No, the country hasn't done anything by me. I've done everything for myself. My husband and I took care of ourselves as we grew older. Now, when we got ready to retire, we had planned what we were going to do. Now, what is the country doing for me now? Do I get any interest on anything that I put away and saved?
Well, your money is safe, right?
I wouldn't say that.
You got access to health care?
I have access to health care because my husband served 20 years in the military.
So the military did something for your family. The military is trustworthy, right? I mean, the military healthcare system's great.
No, I wouldn't say it's great. We were promised free health care for our whole life, but that did not happen.
What is it that is so bad about where America is or where you are right now with America that you would want to die if Donald Trump doesn't win?
I just don't want to live in a country that is screwed up as this one, that people are so out of control and that they think that everything that they're entitled to everything. What do you think about the stealing that's going on right now?
What do you mean stealing?
People walk into stores and just can walk out with stuff.
Well, crime is a problem, but there's also a lot of places where people have to...
Crime is increasing every day.
Actually, the data shows it's not.
Well, I don't care what the data shows. You and I can't talk to each other because you have a totally different idea of what's going on than what I have.
So what do you trust?
I trust Donald Trump. I trust Donald Trump, and what really upsets me the most is everybody remembers that one little blip that Billy Bush put out there when he first started to run.
About grabbing the...
Yeah, that's the...
I mean, that was pretty memorable.
Well, why is that memorable? Why isn't it memorable the things that he did do?
Well, he's been indicted in 4 different cases and 91 criminal charges.
That stuff is true. You know it's not.
I don't know whether it's true or not. I just know that... No, I just know that
a non-Trumper?
No, I'm just a journalist who sees that he's been in... I mean, so how do you explain all these charges? How do you explain all? What's going on?
They're all made up.
They're all made up.
Yep. They're all made up.
So the election interference in Georgia, Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro, who worked for Donald Trump as lawyers, they just pled guilty and admitted...
I don't believe that either.
You don't believe they pled guilty?
Nope.
So when they said that they were...
I never turn on the news. I never turn on the TV. I never listen to any of that.
So where do you get your information if you don't watch the news?
I get my information from Telegram.
From Telegram. Are there any liberal or progressive voices on Telegram?
I don't have any idea.
There are not. Is it important to hear from people who have a different point of view than you?
I'd like to sit down with a liberal someday and have them tell me what it is that they think is so great about what's going on right now. But they won't talk to you about it.
Well, what particular issue would you like to talk about?
I don't know. What do you think is so great about what's going on right now?
I think what's so great is that people who are in the United States now have more opportunities than anywhere else around the world.
When's the last time you paid for a loaf of bread?
I just went to the store the other day and I was glad to see that inflation is down.
Oh, no. We can't talk anymore.
Unemployment is down. My 401k is doing great. Your 401k is doing great. The markets are awesome.
No. I can't even see. That's why I can't talk to a liberal.
Well, if we can't talk to each other, what are we going to do?
Well, we're not going to do anything because I'm leaving.
You know, I knew I was going to do that. Oddly enough, because, and I thought about it, it's like, no, I got to turn the mic back on, but I didn't because, yeah. Anyway, thank you for telling me. Oh, geez. So anyway, as I was saying, the part that really bugged me about that was the fact that she wanted, first of all, since I have to repeat myself, she's internalizing that, and because she doesn't really want to kill herself. But the part that really got me is the fact that she said that she really, really wanted to talk to a liberal, but they just won't talk to you. So then when she had the chance to talk to a liberal, she didn't, I can't see, that's why I can't talk to you, because you don't agree with me. And this is all cognitive bias. See, our brains are wired to justify whatever we feel. And if you feel like, if you go out, people are always going to bother me. I mean, the world is too peoply out there. I know I've been guilty of this myself. And it's like, if that's what you believe, you're going to go out there and you're going to find a bunch of people that are going to piss you off just to make you right. It's like, I can't find somebody who loves me. Yeah, well, here, let me prove it to you. Whatever it is that you feel is going to happen, it's going to justify that feeling. Oh, look at all the stuff behind me. So, I want you to think of a time, or what is one word that describes what it feels to you about being wrong? Yeah, it's live. I have no choice, Alicia. Thank you. But yeah, one word. Put in the chat. What's the one word that comes to mind when you think about being wrong? Or making a mistake? What word comes to you? Experience. All right. So I wouldn't ask you to change that, but a lot of time, embarrassed. Okay. Not enough. That's cool. Really? So now I like to challenge you. What would it take for you to challenge that feeling? What's up, Ron? boy, and go back to junior high school. Wow. Thanks for joining. So the question was, choose one word that describes how you feel with the thought of being wrong, and put it in the chat. And then, since I've asked everybody else, what would it take for you to challenge that feeling? What would it take for you to take that step and do it anyway? See, I think people think vulnerability is a weakness, and it's not. It's actually, it's the birthplace of creativity, innovation. It's where we make our changes. Now, as I was this, we were in Arizona shooting a commercial, and the camera was on a dolly, on a crane, going up and down, and the way it was situated, I ended up on the dumb side of the lens. One side of the lens has the numbers and the witness mark, so you can set your focus and set your iris and things like that. The other side of the lens, the dumb side, doesn't have that. But it was a wide angle, so focus wasn't that big of a deal, but opening and closing the iris was. And so you understand, when we shoot, the iris was supposed to be at 1. In between shots, I would have to change the iris to 100 so it would open up and I could see the gate to make sure there wasn't a hair in the way. And I've been doing this the whole morning, and then as we're breaking for lunch, the DP asked me, had the lens been like this all morning? Because it was actually at 100 instead of at 1. And I wasn't sure. I said, I don't think it was, but I can't guarantee it. So he went up and he told the director about the situation, that we might have a technical problem. Now, both of us became vulnerable at that point. And the thing is, the more certain we are, the greater the chance of being wrong. We aren't open to the possibility of maybe we made a mistake. Maybe there needs to be something done. If we close our minds to that. And I see that a lot in politics, where they think they know what the people want, and they're so sure of it that, I know what you want. Shut up. I don't want to hear you because you need to listen to me because I know what you want. And that's kind of where we are. They close off the possibilities, and that creates a closed mindset. Now, Carol Dweck, in her book, talks about a growth mindset. And she states that mistakes aren't failures, they're opportunities to learn, to improve, to make things right. And as a creative, I know that to be true. It's like I have the best ideas in the world, to me, and that's kind of where it ends. So I depend on true critiques. That's why I asked Alicia. Thank you for being here. But because she's a creative as well, and it's just the way creatives are. And I know a lot of times when people ask, well, what do you think about this? Most of the time, they're looking for confirmation that they're all right. I remember there was a shoot, and usually for lunch, we have warm lunches are a thing. I mean, you have to have a warm lunch. You're working 10 hours. You need a warm meal. So we're 5 hours into the day and we break for lunch. And this woman hands me a sandwich, and it was like 2 pieces of white Wonder Bread with a thinly sliced piece of bologna with a thin slice of cheese on top of it. And I ate it, and there was a small bag of potato chips. And she came up to me, and she had this joy on her face. How did you like the sandwich? How did you like the sandwich? And I couldn't break her heart. I said, no, it was great. It was wonderful. She said, oh, I'm so happy. I made it myself. But that's what she was looking for. My father, on the other hand, would ask how stuff was, and people would say, oh, it's good. And he said, that's great. Otis, how was it? And I said, yeah, it was a little heavy on the salt, or it needed a little this, a little that. And he was looking for an honest answer. He wasn't looking for confirmation. So getting back to Arizona. So now we just broke for lunch, and the director has to deal with this. He has to deal with this mistake. So towards the end of lunch, he walked up in front of everybody and said, okay, we had technical issues this morning, and we're going to have to reshoot everything that we did to make it up. But he was going to try something else. He was going to pay attention, going to do something and try to catch up. So he came up with an idea that we shot the whole day in the second half of that day. We got every shot that we missed in the morning, and all the shots that we had to get in the afternoon, we picked up that afternoon. All because of a mistake. And from that day forward, we changed how we shot the car commercials. And we ended up shooting a full day's worth of work in half a day, all because of that mistake and being open-minded to it instead of sitting and pouting. Now, I have there's a bunch of other mistakes that I think that I mentioned that a lot of you are familiar with, but you don't know quite that well. So let me read them off, because I'll trying to remember all of this is forget about it. Okay, so there's a woman. She's a secretary. Her name's Betty Nesmith Graham, and she made a lot of typing mistakes, and she struggled to correct them. I mean, it was messy. So she used her background as a painter and created a white water-based tempera paint to cover up her mistakes. And that was white out liquid paper. And her son, Mike Nesmith, I believe, the guitar player of the Monkees. Then, let's see. 1886. John Pemberton. He was trying to create a patent medicine, but accidentally mixed it with carbonated water. Any guesses what that is? Time's up. Coca-Cola. 1903. Edward Benedictus. He accidentally knocked over a glass flask that was coated with cellulose nitrate, which prevented it from shattering. Alka-Seltzer. That was safety glass. In 1930, I don't know if my friend Terry is on or not, but this one's for you, Terry, in case you watch it in the replay, or if you're here. 1930, Ruth Wakefield She ran out of baker's chocolate while making cookies and substituted with broken pieces of semi-sweet chocolate, expecting them to melt. They didn't melt. We got chocolate chip cookies. Charles Goodyear, the tire guy, he accidentally dropped a mixture of rubber and sulfur onto a hot stove in 1839. And this is actually close to my heart, and Frank, you're a Canadian, so this ought to be close to your heart as well. That's vulcanized rubber, in other words, a hockey puck. So I have a much longer list. Maybe I'll put it in the event page, or if you're not on the event page, DM me and I'll send you the list. But before I go, I'd like to pause for a moment. And I want you to think about one belief that you've never questioned. Something that you've always taken for granted. And I want you to ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What new possibilities could arise if you actually tried it? Broke that mold, questioned yourself. What could you get? And last but not least, do you control knowledge, or does knowledge control you? Thanks for joining me. Do you have any questions while you have me? Okay. If you have any questions, you can send them to me, DM me or whatever. Thank you for spending your evening with me. I truly appreciate it. And the next blog will come out in a few days, and we're going to learn how to let go of the things that we've been holding on to. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you again for joining me. And next time I play a video, I'll try to remember to turn my mic back